Good evening, gentlemen. It's Thursday night this week, and once again, this is easier for me to get back to everybody by speaking rather than typing. Doesn't mean that we're done with the discussion for this week, but there's just something kind of a couple of universal points that I'm seeing here, and I thought it was easier to talk to you about them. And then at the end, what I'm going to do is going to try to keep this as short as I can tonight. Tell you what my plan is for trying to do a collaborative session. So I think that again will have quite a bit of value, but it'll also have an element of entertainment. Could be fun. I really appreciate the depth and the enthusiasm that you guys are approaching the class with, and as I said, being a small group, kind of a group seminar, group tutorial, I think we can go a lot farther maybe than we could in a full class of a dozen or 20 people. So I think it's going to be really great. Okay, the discussion this week where I'm asking about what's the purpose? Why do we do this? And right away in the first entry, I think Trevor, you brought it up where you said you started to talk about value, and you looked at it in one sense, which was back what the Royals did, for instance. And I have to be honest with you guys, I used to beat up on the Kansas City Royals in this class all the time as a example of mediocrity, and then they went ahead and won the World Series and kind of took that argument away from me. But yeah, they did it by the concept of value at the micro level. And as I was reading that, I said I want to make sure that we also think about it at what I'm going to call the macro level. The whole idea of value is that different from profit. Profit is an annual thing. Profit is a quarter-to-quarter thing. Profit happens, right? Profit is simply put, right? We take in more than we spend, so we've got some left over. We use that to build value over the long run, but also other things contribute to value. The value of the franchise, as you can see, if you looked at some of those Forbes numbers and everything, it's just massive. And so I want you to think about it this way. When I'm talking about value in this video, what I'm talking about is the accumulated economic benefit of that franchise, of that team, whatever you have. So, and essentially value is what will somebody pay you for it? And the whole idea now is, let's look at maybe the most valuable one that keeps popping up, at least from American sports, the Dallas Cowboys. Okay, the Dallas Cowboys are the most valuable franchise. I forget how many billion, right? Dallas Cowboys haven't won anything for 25 years. They're still wildly popular. They get a lot of attention. They win a lot of games. They don't win quite enough games at the right time, apparently, which I will, by the way, I'm owning up, full disclosure, I'm a Giants fan. Okay, so I have no great love for the Dallas Cowboys. In fact, my two favorite football teams are the New York Giants and whoever's playing the Cowboys. That's how much I don't root for the Dallas Cowboys, but that's just a matter of personal preference, and I know I consider this like some of you Cowboys fans in the audience. But back to my point. Is Jerry Jones really in it to make a profit every year? Or is Jerry Jones, and I guess his son there, Stephen Jones, are they in it to make the value of the franchise increase over time, so that is the source of their wealth? Okay, not so much the source of their money, but their wealth. Is there a difference? In a way, there is. At least as an economist, you'd look at it a little differently. And one of the things you think we ought to remember, again, we'll just stick with Jerry Jones as an example. He acts as his own general manager and things like that. He's probably one of the most active and actively involved owners in the sport. But look at it this way. Did Jerry Jones make his money at football? No, he made it in the oil business. That's how he got enough money to buy the Cowboys. All right? He made it in a different business, which, by the way, the oil industry, much bigger industry than sport. Okay? Take another one around here up in New England, Robert Kraft. How did Robert Kraft? Did Robert Kraft make his fortune owning and operating the New England Patriots? No, he made it in the paper and container industry. All right. Just absolute ownership, sports ownership is just full of that in this country. And, we've got some very interesting people who own sports franchises. The fellow who bought the Los Angeles Clippers, Steve Ballmer, who was CEO of Microsoft. All right, Paul Allen, who's founded Microsoft along with Bill Gates, owned a lot of franchises. The Trailblazers. I think he was involved with the Seahawks. Other teams up there. Paul Allen's fortune did not come from sport. Paul Allen's fortune came from other businesses. So they're not dependent on making a profit. Okay. To increase their economic well-being. It's increasing the value of the franchise. And maybe that explains why we see some of these insane contracts. We saw Pat Mahomes getting what he got this week. The other thing I ask you to do, and I think I did in my review and preview in here too, is it the same at that level, at that upper level, the NFL level, the Major League Baseball level, the NBA level, than it is at lower levels of sports. So, for instance, as I said in my video there, do the New York Yankees worry as much about putting people in the seats as, say, our local team around here, the Hartford Yard Goats? Well, the Hartford Yard Goats is one of the most successful minor league franchises in the country. And last year they had, I think, a string of 30 or 40 sellouts. Well, that's a 600-seat stadium. They drew 400,000 people for the year for a double-A team. That's fantastic. But this year, without without the ability to play and the minor league season being canceled, they're scrambling to use that stadium for all sorts of other activities as ways to make money. Okay? Do you think Yankee Stadium, in case Major League Baseball just doesn't happen, do you think we're going to see corporate outings at Yankee Stadium? Do you think we're going to see it being turned into a party destination where, yes, they've had golf events in the Hartford Yard Goats Stadium, Dunkin' Donuts Park? No, you're not going to see that. The Yankees are in a different plane. So that's the kind of thing I want you to think about when you look at value. The other one, too, start thinking ahead on this one because we're going to look at some contemporary issues, and those are coming up. And as I said, I've been involved in college sports for a long time. I've studied college sports. When I got my doctorate, guess what my dissertation was about? It was about college sports at the Division II level. I've been a college coach. You can see I've been around with Nike since Nike's been our supplier here at Post. This is back when Nike didn't believe in vowels, I guess. So a ton of Nike tennis gear up in the closets and everything like that. I'm still very interested in what's happening in college sports. And today you saw the Ivy League cancel all sports for the fall. The Big Ten and the ACC both now say they're only going to play conference games in all sports in the fall and putting off the start. I still think there's a fairly good chance that college football won't happen this fall. But think about that again when we look at the idea of value in sports. And when we get to those units, they're a couple units away, we're really going to look at it. That's where I want you to start thinking and digging up information because there are an awful lot of misconceptions about college sports and where the money comes from, what the economic values are. But I'm asking you to think about value in the big picture. Okay, that's really it. Okay, the idea of a collaborative session. I am leaning towards Tuesday evening. That would be, let's see, today is the 9th, so back to the 14th of July at about 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And I'm going to set it up in Blackboard Collaborate. You should be able to get in there with like about 2 clicks. And if that works for everybody, I think it would be, again, a lot of fun. I think it'd be beneficial. So I will put that out into writing for everybody. Don't take this little video that I put together here as the end of the discussion for this week. Keep going. But that's some direction I wanted to give everybody and make sure we got. Okay, thanks again.